podcast that broadcasts 438 miles between each other. That's 6 hours and 45 minutes. And the temperature this morning is not really different. Good morning, everybody. This is the fifth quarter podcast. And we might as well start calling this like a lunch break, Desmond. We keep recording at like 11:40, like noon, and trying to get it out as soon as we can so people can enjoy it. But this is episode number 11. And I'm George Koff, and welcome in my co-host in Lubbock, Texas, Desmond McLaughlin. Good morning, Desmond.
Morning, George.
How's Texas Tech life treating you?
Pretty good, George. I'm a little upset about the game last week, but a lot of people were here. Cars everywhere, streets shut down. It was pretty exciting.
Hey, it was a good game too. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, let's talk about what happened here in College Station. But before we do that, you ready to get into it?
I'm ready to get into it. Let's get this.
So, A&M played Ole Miss, SEC West opponent at Kyle Field. It was cold. I think that's the best way to describe it. It was cold. I think it was 43 at kickoff. Put it this way, I got a hot chocolate before we even started kickoff. I was so cold, and I was wearing 4 layers of jackets. It was brutally cold, and once people started to pack in, it got a little bit warmer, but then people started leaving at halftime, so it got colder and colder. Now, I will say I left at halftime, but for a different reason. I'll get to that later. But guess what, Desmond?
What?
A&M's going bowling. Finally getting that 6th win. Took them 3 weeks, but they got it. And A&M, I'll say this. We looked decent in the first half. Horrible in the first 5 minutes of the second half. And then pretty solid the rest of the game. The first 5 minutes of the second half was horrible because Mond had that fumble, and then he had the interception in the red zone. Just not good. I feel like I get more stressed watching Mond produce turnovers than looking for somebody in the end zone. And it should be the other way around.
Yeah.
But I cannot criticize Mond because he had a huge day. Besides the turnovers, he had a good day. He brought the football down the field. A&M won 38-24 as I predicted. Trevion Williams did what he has gone to do in so many games in his career. 30 yards or so, a touchdown. He had the last touchdown to ice the game. Surpassed 3,000 rushing yards in his Aggie career, which is a huge deal. He's like I think he's fastest or the second fastest to do it in Aggie football history. But I'll have to say, Jordan Ta'amu, the Ole Miss quarterback, he's not a bad quarterback. He can throw, he can compete in the SEC. It's just the rest of the Ole Miss defense and offense is just, you have A.J. Brown, who's their star receiver, and you can do Ta'amu to Brown many times, but that's not going to win you a football game. You got to have more weapons. You got to have a good defense.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the difference was today, or Saturday, not today, Saturday. And all the punts and halts in the end zone and missed field goals and everything like that we did not see this Rebels team do in weeks prior. And so kudos to the Aggie defense and special teams coverage for stepping up on that. Anything you wanted to add?
Well, I'm going to take mine to pros and cons because you're more involved into that than I am. Pros, good job, congratulations, bowl eligible. As I told you, rushing games definitely should be strong just in the SEC. Williams came out, 228 yards rushing. Definitely a strong game. Gets the dub. I saw that Mond accounted for 4 of your touchdowns. And I know I was talking about last week. I was telling about how the previous 2 weeks before then, y'all were struggling in the second half. Y'all got outscored a huge gap amount of points.
Right.
But y'all 24-10 second half. Y'all got the dub. Second half you gotta go out strong.
I think if anything, this team has finally learned how to play in the second half. It took them 3 weeks, but geez,
yeah.
That stretch where we lost to Mississippi State and Auburn, you just can't have that in the SEC. You can have that maybe in the Big 10, Big 12, maybe not this year in the Big 12, but you can have it.
We proved that.
You can have that. You can have that kind of stretch, but in the SEC, every game that you lose is just makes you crumble.
Right.
And so I think I think that A&M was finally got a win over a bad Ole Miss team because besides the quarterback, they're bad.
Yeah.
And I think it was expected that we were going to win, and if we were going to lose, then I mean, that would just been bad football. It was our first SEC West win at Kyle Field since 2015. So that's a big deal, and hopefully we'll get another one against LSU at the end of the season in 2 weeks. But this week we play UAB, and UAB is not somebody to skimp on.
Yeah,
I mean,
can't skimp on them.
They are a good team. They're 9-1, 7-0 in the Conference USA. They beat my Mean Green by 8. Okay, and the Mean Green are a pretty good team. So I think, though, it being cold, night game, scoring will be low scoring affair. A&M will get some points, and then they'll lean on their defense to finish off the game and start looking ahead to LSU. 31-20 A&M. What about you, Desmond?
Sorry. 27-10 A&M. I agree that they'll get the W. UAB's a good team, yes, but I just don't think they have the firepower that SEC teams do.
Yeah. And LSU is going to be an interesting showdown. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about that next week, but that will be a good showdown because I think LSU is one of those teams that, like they were talking about last night in the college football playoff rankings, that they've peaked. They've kind of peaked where they are in the rankings, and they're playing Rice this week. Okay, that's great, but like that's a win. But next week will kind of determine if people will be able to jump LSU, if LSU will maybe move up a spot. We'll see. And of course, it's rivalry weekend next week. So that would be a big deal with Ohio State, Michigan, Florida State, which really doesn't mean much. But Clemson, South Carolina. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that come. Oh, Auburn, LSU, or Auburn, Alabama. But we'll get to that next week. That'll be a nice Thanksgiving rivalry special edition of the fifth quarter. But moving ahead, and we'll go to Lubbock. Desmond, what did you see from Duffy and the Red Raiders?
As I said, George, this was probably the most exciting games I've ever been to in my life, George.
That's a bold statement.
It is, George. The environment was crazy. Lots of trash talk from the Texas players to Texas Tech fans. I'm gonna tell you this: those Texas players, whoo, they are arrogant.
Good word. Good word.
They are, George. I was actually getting mad. I was like, "You have a game to play. Stop talking to us." But Texas Tech got off to a hot start. Duffy had a lot of rookie mistakes. You know, I say rookie. He stopped momentum a lot. You know, we had a lot of times we were gaining momentum. We were looking good. It's not just him, too. Penalties, too. Where on defense, we'd stop him and it'd be like 3rd and 20. And there'd be like an unnecessary like face mask call or unnecessary roughness, first down. You know, they come back and score. Like, just stuff like that. Duffy throwing it.
And also, what happened with Duffy running out of bounds? I was listening on the radio, and so they thought that, he was out of bounds, but he fumbled that football.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, then in the beginning of the game, we had him, like, it was like, I forgot it was like 10-0 or something like that, but we had huge momentum to start the game. And Duffy, he didn't run out of bounds. I would say he didn't run out of bounds. But
was that on your side of the field?
No,
like,
but
could you see it?
I saw the board. He didn't run out of bounds, and he should have ran out of bounds, but he didn't. I get they're trying to make plays, and sometimes he'll run for like 30 yards, but sometimes it's unnecessary. We should just throw the ball away, but he tries to make plays, end up fumbling. There's another time where he tried to make a play and kind of threw the ball. Remember that pass that Johnny Manziel threw one time to Mike Evans?
Yes.
It was a jump ball. He tried doing the same thing, but it was a terrible throw. Gets picked off. We lose momentum. Just stuff like that. But
you can't have that. You can't have that against a good Texas team.
Yeah, exactly. And our run defense is terrible. Trey Watson was just 4 yards, 2 yards, first down, 4 yards. It's just like that every single time. Not big yards, but enough.
Okay, but the Texas running backs are really good.
Yeah.
You have to give them that. You can't. I mean, it's just like when we played Alabama, when our rushing defense was supposedly the best, and or at that time, you know, in the SEC, and then they give us Damian Harris, who just keeps running it down our throat. Like, okay, if you have a good running back and you have a pretty good rushing defense, either way, the running back is probably going to win because they're going to find holes. They're going to readjust. And so I think just overall, the fact that Texas Tech did not stop playing.
That was my pro, is because at halftime I left to go get something to eat off campus. I saw a bunch of people leave, you know. At
You
that point,
left?
to get food. I left
Oh, okay.
right at the end of the second.
Okay.
Right there, 2 minutes left in the second quarter to go get food. I came back. All right, still had my seats there for me. And then I think Texas scored. Everybody started leaving, and I was like, I told you I was talking to the person next to me, and I was like, don't worry, they'll come back. And all I heard girls around me behind me they should fire Cliff Kingsbury. I was like, have some faith, please. Boom, 17-point comeback. Everybody's crazy. Oh, UT sucks. Texas is back. And everyone was crazy. Hype is real. But there was still 1 minute left. Sam Ellerton just using his legs to get yardage. That jump ball up to Humphrey. That's game. A bad play call at the end of the game. Duffy trying to again run out the pocket with about 18 seconds left. Instead of throwing it away to get another play, he tries using his feet. Only gets about 10 yards. That's not enough. So then they bring in McLean Carter, who hasn't showed up all season, who's been injured. They try to do the lateral passes. Doesn't work out. We lose the game.
I think Texas Tech was 40 seconds to go, or 32 seconds to go, when Texas gave it back to them, right? They scored. They were up by a touchdown. The way, I think you had mentioned it, was that the way that the play calling was for Kingsbury was horrible.
Yes,
that last 30
terrible.
seconds. I honestly, you're down by a touchdown, you got to take shots to the end zone. You can't just try to. There is a certain point where you have to get some yardage, so then you can take some reasonable shots to the end zone. But at that point, when you're down 30 seconds to go, down by a touchdown, you just have to go for it. You can't just make these BS plays where you just kind of, we're going to run it out, or kind of just get there. And,
right.
Yeah.
Can I give a quick shout out to I don't know his name, but the kicker for Texas.
Dicker.
That guy is good, man.
Dicker the kicker.
He can kick the ball.
Yeah, he had that game-winning field goal against OU in the Red River shootout. So, I mean, I think that's something to think about. I want to mention this quickly before we move on, but right now, 5 insiders are predicting that a Texas Tech and Texas A&M Texas Bowl in NRG in Houston. Desmond, if that happens,
is definitely a game I'm going to.
I would do the same. I would definitely try to get there in Houston, over the Christmas break. Be a good showdown.
Oh, yeah.
If you had to predict it right now, which team wins?
Texas
or which team performs, which side of the ball performs better? A&M's rushing defense or Texas Tech's passing offense? Which team does better?
Depends who's quarterback.
If it's Duffy.
Even then, that's still pretty hard because Duffy's not that bad. I don't really know much about A&M's rushing defense, but I know that we don't have a strong rushing, so I'd say y'all's rushing defense. But if Bowman's as quarterback, then it's definitely Texas Tech's offense.
I would say that if Bowman plays, Texas Tech wins. But if Duffy plays, it would be A&M. Prediction quick prediction: Texas Tech, Kansas State in the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas. Bill Snyder, Wildcats. Who you got?
I got 38-17 Texas Tech.
Yeah, I got 35-24 Texas Tech as well. I think this game they'll win. They'll move into the showdown with Baylor at Jerry World during Thanksgiving weekend, and I think that's just a good way to leave it there. So as we move into rankings number 3, college football playoff discussion. Top 10 didn't change. First time ever in college football rankings. Really didn't see anything that was huge deal. So anything you wanted to say? Only thing I would say is that UCF jumping one spot is big, and Cincinnati getting the rankings to make that a ranked matchup. But other than that,
no, you're right. Nothing happened. Top 10 closest was Kentucky, number 11, losing.
Yeah.
Oklahoma almost lost, survived the upset to Oklahoma State. Honestly, the only thing in top 10 besides Oklahoma losing was an injury to Tua. That was the only thing that shook up pretty much.
What is his status? Do we know?
I was reading a report, and they say that he's fine, that he should be able to play, but you never know with them. They don't want to say he's hurt, because they don't want to give the opponents that knowledge.
Right.
But I think that he'll be fine.
I mean, they're playing the Citadel this
Even
week. I mean,
even if he's injured, they still have Jalen Hurts, who's not a bad quarterback.
right. And I think honestly, if you're Nick Saban, you make even
You hold.
you're playing a crappy Citadel team. And no offense, I mean it's a cupcake team. They're probably pretty good in the FCS, but against Alabama, they're just gonna get run over. Jalen Hurts, if he has to play, he'll probably get 5 touchdowns on them. Set up an Iron Bowl showdown that Bama will probably win. I mean, I can't imagine at this point Auburn not even making it contestable, making a contest between them and Georgia. I just don't see how they will even beat Bama. So, quickly, so I think that unless you want to add anything else, I think we'll move to our next segment. But anything else?
No, it's all good.
Okay.
Nothing happened, man. It was...
Okay, so right before we went on the air, we discussed that NFL, since we are just over halfway, we're week 11, into week 11, and I was going to ask this, but now we did get confirmation from Adam Schefter. He did mention that the Rams and Chiefs will play in LA. They are not going to be playing in Mexico City. So, Desmond, what do you think is the impact going to be on this game now? Now that it's no longer at a neutral site, it's back in for a home game for the Rams.
Definitely gives Rams to the home field advantage. Crowd going crazy, you know.
Right.
Definitely always a plus for you. This is gonna be a great matchup, man.
Hey, it's Mahomes and Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill versus Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, and I'm trying to think of their receiver. Gosh, what's his name? Is Brandon Cooks? Yeah, Brandon Cooks, right?
No, I think Brandon Cooks plays for the Patriots.
Oh, that's right. He got traded. Oh, I don't even know who because Cooper Kupp is hurt for the.
Robert Woods.
Thank you, Robert Woods.
Yeah.
There we go. So Robert Woods. So Robert Woods, Goff, and Gurley versus Mahomes.
Tech alumni. Tech alumni. Thank you.
Hey, I'll tell you what. He's making bank on my fantasy team. I'll just say that.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
He knows what he's doing, and he does not seem fazed about being a rookie, right?
Rookie, yeah. He's a rookie.
So, I think we'll just kind of mention these quickly. Texans 6 straight wins coming off their bye week now. See what they can do the rest of the season.
Go, baby.
Eagles are struggling.
Trash.
I think considering they're the defending Super Bowl champs, they don't look like that. They look like I mean, then again, the NFC East is crappy, but they just don't like they have that dominance, the mentality, the attitude that they had last year. But I think I'll say my still too early Super Bowl prediction. You're not gonna like this, Desmond, and my fantasy team probably won't like this either. But I've got Saints versus Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I think Drew Brees will pull off an upset against the Rams because it will be in New Orleans. It will not be back in LA because remember that matchup a few weeks ago, Saints won, and I think Brees will have a chance to ride off into the sunset. Don't be surprised if he wins the Super Bowl. Don't be surprised if he retires. I really think that. He hasn't said anything yet because he wants to see if he can win the Super Bowl, and he's close.
All right.
I just don't think Mahomes. I think that's going to be pressure. Rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl just does not sound good with me.
I just have a couple things to talk with the NFL, like you did. My belief is that Jason Garrett and Marvin Lewis both should be fired this year.
Yes, agreed. I mean that Marvin Lewis too. I
definitely without doubt Marvin Lewis.
Yes.
Question: are the Patriots still one of the best teams in the NFL? Yes.
I don't think so.
Whoa!
Did you see how they got manhandled by the Titans?
That doesn't matter. Don't you dare doubt Tom Brady.
Coach Vrabel for the Titans. Golly, I mean, maybe it's just a hiccup, but that's their third hiccup this season.
Yeah. Des Bryant's injury for the Saints. Feel sorry for that man. You know, he probably has a chance, gets injured before his first game, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's just... And did you see the Saints are signing Brandon Marshall?
They are?
They are. They're signing him to replace
they're just signing everybody.
They need some receivers. They have nobody. They've got Kamara, who's the running back, and you have Michael Thomas, but that's it. You need to give some weapons to Breeze.
Last I had was Le'Veon Bell. That whole drama, kind of over it now.
It's done. He's not
Yeah.
playing this season. Let's move on.
But my early Super Bowl prediction: Panthers versus Patriots. I said it.
Oh, I like
Panthers
that.
versus Patriots,
I like
yeah.
that. I like that. I think I like the Panthers, but I don't know if they can compete against the Rams or Saints in the NFC.
I'll have to see, man.
Are you saying Chiefs, Patriots in the AFC Championship game?
Yes.
At
Well,
Gillette? Like, are you saying that would be who they'd beat to go to the Super Bowl?
I was actually gonna say Texans Patriots, only because that's a
Oh.
matchup. That's a matchup I'd want to see.
I mean, I would too. I think that'd be. But speaking of matchups, we got to keep moving forward. So we have another guest, and Desmond, I'd like to take this time to mention that our guest last week, Zach, if you're listening, you went 7-0. He's only the second perfect picker. We had Brett come on, show us up, and go 6-0. So this week we have a special guest. He's not just a freshman sports management major. That's in my little, I guess, contingent here. He is also from California, coming to Texas A&M, so out of state. But he's also the man who made some College Station and some Houston, and I think even some national headlines for making a half-court shot in the Aggies' home opener against, I don't even know who they were playing. I can't remember because it was a trash team. But he got it on his third attempt.
So was UC Irvine.
No, it wasn't UC Irvine. That was an L 2 days ago. But I'd like to welcome Hunter Prahbu to our fifth quarter podcast studio set here, and he's gonna make some picks with us. So good morning, Hunter.
What's going on, George? What's going on, Desmond?
What's going on, Hunter?
So yeah, so if you missed that, Hunter did make the shot, and it was for $10,000. So Hunter, we all want to know, what are you gonna do with that $10,000? You've had a time to think about it. So what are you gonna do with it?
I think our very own Dr. Hudson said I should invest. So I think I'm gonna take his advice and probably invest in maybe the rest of the money tuition. But I'll still figure. I still need to get the money. I still haven't even gotten the money yet, which is bizarre.
That's weird.
It's been like a week.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just disappointing to hear, but hopefully you'll get the money, and I can't imagine you won't. So, Desmond, you ready to make some picks? I know you're 1-9 and you're upsets, and I'm 4-6, so I think we both need some luck this week.
I think we do, George. Definitely me, without a doubt.
Okay, so first pick in what should have been the College Game Day game and preview.
Agreed.
Number 12, Syracuse takes on number 3, Notre Dame at Yankee Stadium. This is a neutral site game. Notre Dame gets to wear those awful Yankee pinstripe uniforms, the ones that blew up the internet prior to the football season. But I think the uniforms are going to be bad luck, and just the fact that Syracuse is a good team. Syracuse wins by 10, 38-28. That's my upset of the week, folks. Upset of the week. We'll go to Hunter next. Hunter, what do you got?
I'm gonna say I got Notre Dame winning 24-17. I think as much as Syracuse poses a threat to Notre Dame, I think they'll put up a fight, but I say they lose by a touchdown. Like I said, Notre Dame 24-17.
Good pick. What about you, Desmond?
I agree. I think Notre Dame's just too overpowered for Syracuse. Even though I would like to see Notre Dame lose, because if Notre Dame lost and Georgia lost, we're looking at Oklahoma maybe sliding into that top 4 spot. Just saying. But Notre Dame winning 37-27.
Wow, so big.
Not that big. That's only 10 points.
You said 37-17.
No, 37-27.
Oh, 37-27. My bad. My bad. Okay, so 10 points, yeah. I think it'll be a really interesting crowd. I'd like to see the orange and the blue and gold, because it'll be interesting to see the separation there. So now the College Game Day game that everybody was surprised by. I mean, I don't think if there was one person bet me $20 that they were excited about this game, like about College Game Day going here before we all were going to predict it, then I'll give you $20. But there's nobody out there that was going to say that. That Cincinnati, 24th ranked Cincinnati, was going to be traveling to 11th ranked UCF to Orlando, and that was going to be College Game Day's pick for this week. I think they have said they will provide lots of coverage from Yankee Stadium because they feel bad, is what I heard. But they've decided to showcase the smaller schools. They'll give Knights the justice that they deserve for winning the so-called national championship last year, in quotes. But I think UCF will win. I know there are a lot of people that are saying this could be an upset, but I think UCF will win 46-30. Hunter, what about you?
All right, I don't know about you two, but I'm tired of seeing UCF sit on number 11 out of
Agreed.
I am
Agreed.
too. But Cincinnati is not that good of a team. So
they aren't that good of a team, but I'd say they put up a fight, and I feel like they come away with a one touchdown win, 28-21 Cincy for my upset.
Nice. Desmond?
I agree. I think UCF is very overrated.
I do too.
So I'm going to have to choose this as my upset this week. I have Cincinnati being UCF 27-21, and hopefully I will come out 2-9.
I mean, Desmond, you are 1-9, so maybe you could get that elusive second win. Speaking of elusive victory, we got a big showdown in Austin.
Great
I'm about
game.
to call Austin something different.
Honestly, I would have probably chosen this game as college game day of the week.
I kind of agree with that. Hunter was saying the same thing as well. We were talking about that prior. But these are the 3 ranked matchups this week, and Iowa State, 16th ranked, is going to give Texas a whole boatload of trouble. 15th ranked Texas. And I don't want to say that the home team's going to win, because sometimes in these ranked games we see something different. But I think this will decide who gets the 2 seed for the Big 12 championship game. I think Oklahoma, West Virginia, somebody's going to lose there, and so Iowa State will. I think West Virginia will lose, so Iowa State.
Wait.
So this game will decide the Big 12 championship game. The 2 seed. Cyclones will win. Stun Texas in overtime. 44-38 in 2 overtime periods. Hunter, you're going on in here second guessing. What do you got?
I'm not gonna lie, I really like your pick, George. I'm actually unfortunately gonna pick Texas on this one. I feel like I'm it's on that one too. I say they come away with a close win. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game, 35-30 for me.
Good pick.
I'm just gonna say that. Hold on, let me first make my prediction is Texas 34-28 close game, but I honestly think that West Virginia Oklahoma will still end up being in the Big 12 championship.
I disagree. I really think that Oklahoma will beat West Virginia.
Yes,
because Iowa State will win out if they can beat Texas here. They will have that tiebreaker over West Virginia, so it would be Oklahoma Iowa State, and that would be a Big 12 championship that I would watch. I don't want to see a rematch where we get Oklahoma West Virginia, and then the next week we get West Virginia Oklahoma. Doesn't make sense to me like that. I would not want to see them back to back. Do you get what I mean?
I know Oklahoma will have a better chance than Iowa State too. All right, we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. But moving forward to game number 4, Arizona goes to Pullman, Washington, to Martin Stadium to play the number 8 ranked Washington State Cougars. I feel like this could be a trap game, or in Kirk Herbstreit's words, we haven't seen Washington State yet. Every year they always try. It seemed like they put a few strands of wins together, and then they kind of just tank against a really bad team. And he mentioned last night on the college football on the rankings reveal that they haven't done that yet. And what's not to think that they won't? I mean, they got Arizona this week and Washington next week in the Apple Cup. So, and Washington is a good team, but I think Washington State, if they win out and they head to the big Pac-12 championship game, which I think they're on track to if they get to a win on Saturday. But I think Washington State will survive. 42-35 over Arizona. Hunter, what do you have?
That score is kind of similar to what I have. I think Washington State wasn't even on my radar towards the beginning of the college football season, but you can see they've just been manhandling some of these teams. So I'm going to say Washington State comes out with the win 42-24 against Arizona.
I agree with y'all. Definitely, probably a closer margin of victory, but definitely 28-17. Washington State will win this game.
I think so too. I like the mustache. Did you see the video of Mike Leach with the mustache?
I didn't.
The big mustache. Oh, I'll tell you what. If there's one coach I have to pick outside of the SEC besides Jimbo, who's the best coach in the SEC. No, because we're biased here, but I would have to pick Mike Leach. He's too funny. He is too funny to be like, and plus it helps that he was the Texas Tech coach a few years ago. So there's that. Finally, our final pick of this week is the California Victory Bell. This is the game that each campus loves to be draped in the other campus's colors. USC and UCLA. USC loves to put some red on UCLA's campus, and UCLA likes to do the same with their blue. But this is at the Rose Bowl between two really bad teams. USC is struggling, and UCLA, we haven't really talked about them because they're horrible. I think they're 2-9, 2-8, 2-8 or 2-9. I've got USC in a blowout, 42-17. They'll become bowl eligible. What about you, Hunter? I hope you say USC.
I completely agree with you. I should know a lot about this considering I'm from California.
I was gonna say the same thing.
I've always grown to like USC ever since I was young. I totally agree with you. UCLA was absolutely poor this season. I say USC completely destroys UCLA 38-10.
Wow, good pick. What about you, Desmond?
All right. Well, I'm trying to look something real quick.
USC, UCLA.
No. UCLA wins it 21-17. I was just trying to look because you were talking about your favorite coach, and I forget what school it was. I think it was Northwestern Alex Spanos, their strength and conditioning coach, but the really ripped coach that nothing in the club. That's my favorite coach.
He's
man.
wearing he always wears like a medium or like
speedy.
But no, I was saying Mike Leach because he coached at Texas Tech a few years ago.
Yeah. But no, that just reminded me of that coach because I was watching a video and he's just jacked and just like in the cold weather, like straight out protein. I was like,
hey, and we get to see him in the Big Ten championship game. Northwestern clinched their spot last week, so whoever they play, they're gonna get blown out by. But that's a different story. So so why UCLA over USC?
Honestly, I don't know. I really didn't care for either team, so I just chose UCLA.
I mean, UCLA is horrible, Desmond. They're 2-8. They're 2-8.
Yeah, George, what should you say about my Arizona State school, which we were talking about next?
I mean, Arizona State beat UCLA big time. I think it was, right? Wasn't it a big win?
Yeah, it was because Arizona State's not a bad team.
Okay, well, UCLA is a bad team, so why are you bringing them over USC?
Because you never know, George. You never know.
I mean, I want to mention the fact that UNT did not win. They did not beat Old Dominion, who they should have. So I'm a bit upset, and it means that no Texas team will have 10 wins in the regular season, which kind of stinks. But because U of H lost as well, so they're both 7-3. Hopefully they'll get a win on Thursday night against FAU and Lane Kiffin. But they are still projected to go to a close bowl here at home in the Cotton Bowl, Dallas, or whatever the new name is. But you were saying Arizona State. What about Arizona State that makes you
George?
That you like to throw shade at me for calling them horrible first three?
First off, I was wrong with it wasn't a huge victory, but it was a victory nonetheless. 31-28 victory over UCLA last week. Right now, they are second in the Pac-12 South, George. Let me tell you this. Utah only has one less loss than they do, but conference-wise, Arizona State has a better record.
So you're telling me that Arizona State might go to the Pac-12 championship game?
They have a great chance of going to. If they beat Oregon, they'll probably be number one spot in Pac-12 South right now.
Now, do you think they could beat Washington State?
No,
you don't.
But still, you say they're a bad team, but yet they have a great chance of making it to the conference championship.
Because the Pac-12 South. Because the Pac-12 South is like my grandmother's cooking. It's good, but then what happens is it marinates over time and it gets better and better because in the Pac-12 South it gets better and better watching all these teams lose. That's why it's so fun to watch the Pac-12 because they don't get enough credit for having so many games at night that we get these upsets and get these names and people that we don't know like Khalili Tate, whoever the Arizona quarterback is, and like I think that's why Coach Sumlin took the job in Arizona, strictly because he kind of just wanted to be out of the spotlight a little bit. And so when he went 2-5, and now he's what, 5-5?
I think he's like
Are
5 and.
Are they 5-6 or
4?
5-5?
Hold on, let me look.
Either way, while you're looking, Hunter, we forgot to mention what's
5 and 5.
Okay, 5-5. Hunter, we forgot to get your take on what do you say on the A&M game? I can't remember if you said it or not.
The A&M game, I have. I think the A&M defense is gonna stop UAB easily.
Yeah.
I have it as actually a blowout, 45-14. And I think the A&M offense decides to finally figure it out against UAB.
Okay, and what about Texas Tech against Kansas State?
Texas Tech, Kansas State. I gotta say I was really impressed with Texas Tech's performance against Texas last week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Texas Tech win 30-20 on this one.
So Matt, we should have won that game.
Yeah, I think if y'all had won, would you have stormed the field? Be honest.
Oh, without a doubt.
For sure.
Without a doubt.
No, like with you yourself.
Oh yeah.
Well, George, I would have brought my friends with me. I would have gone alone, but yes, I would have.
Okay.
Especially,
Well,
I think if we would have won after the comeback, like if let's say it went to overtime, we won, then everybody would have stormed the field.
How many people were left after halftime? Like, were people quickly?
I was over dramatic about it because like usually, not a lot of people come back, but when I left to go get food, there was a huge line of people waiting just to get inside the stadium.
So in other words, was it like when they were down, people were like, "Oh, forget it! Like this game is over."
No. Okay, it wasn't the student section. It was like the alumni and the family section. They all left, but the student section was still there because it's the last home game. But yeah, a lot of the family and alumni left. Probably I don't blame them. You know, they're a little old, but they missed out. We came back. It was a great game towards the end.
Well, I think that's a great way to end their great game, and we had some good college football this past weekend, and I hope for some more in the games that we could see some big matchups. I'm saying every SEC game is not going to be interesting this week. I'm going to be watching lots of out of conference because they're all playing cupcakes. So except for A&M, but. That's as much time as we got for today. And if you do enjoy listening to the Fifth Quarter Podcast, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the 5Q Podcast, and then send us an email at the Q5podcast@gmail.com. Thank you, Hunter, for joining us for some picks.
Thank you all very much. You know what? I might have made it on ESPN, but I can say I made it on the Fifth Quarter Podcast.
and that's right. I did want to mention that Hunter did occupy the number 9 spot on SportsCenter's top 10 plays.
Oh, that is an honor to have.
Yeah, I mean that's something that takes skill too, not just time, takes skill. So signing off for the 11th time ever, I'm George Koff with Desmond McLaughlin in Lubbock, saying so long from Lubbock and College Station. Take care, Desmond. Goodbye. Adios.
Goodbye.
Gigamaggies. Reckontech.